Hey, welcome to Circuit Tutorials, and today I'll show you how to make this super awesome audio wave in Rec Room with this simple tutorial. Open your watch, go to Backpack, and press Use on your Maker Pen. Now pick it up, open your Maker Pen, and in Tools you'll see this Circuits and Debugging. Turn on Always Snap Circuits. This will make your circuits look nice and neat. So keep it on. Now go to your palette and search Event Receiver. Put it down and remember to have Dread on if you don't already. Now configure your event receiver. And then click on Event and then search for Update 30 Hz. This sends 30 executions in 1 second, so we can use it to update the audio wave. So in the palette, we can find a delay. This we will use to make the 30 Hz into 60 Hz, so it's double the executions. Now we need a 4 chip. Wire the run and after delay into the input of the 4. And what the 4 does is that it goes from a number to another number very quickly. So for example 1 to 3 in a very quick sequence. Now the next step is an if chip. You're going to wire the output of the loop to the input of the if. Now you're going to find a list and then the symbol and then float. So the list float variable. Configure your list variable and rename it to something you would remember, like saved volume for example. Now we need a list get count. And wire the output to the input. What the saved volume one does is that we can save different volumes of the wave. So we don't have the same height for all of the waves at once. And the list get count just gets how many different numbers there are in the list. So example, if there was 2 saved volumes, then it would output 2 on the list get count. Now we need a greater or equal chip. And it's very important you wire the output from the list get count into A and not B, or else it's not going to work. Now just wire the output of the greater or equal into the input of the if. And what the greater or equal chip does is that if A is greater than B, then it's going to output true. If not, then it's going to output false. And the if chip, if the bool is true, it's going to execute out of then, but if it's false, it's going to execute out of else. Now the next chip we need is a list remove at. And just put it right above. And then connect the indexes together, and then the target into the list. Now we need another chip, and it's called list add. Put that right below. Our target is going to be the list again, and the item is our source volume. So that could be our voice or a audio player's one, which is both beta chips. But for this tutorial I'm going to pick the audio player, so we are going to use the audio player's volume in this tutorial. So search up audio player get current volume and make it look nice and neat, and then wire the output to the input, get a audio player, wire the top bit, which defines the audio player, into the input. So this is the audio player we're getting the current audio of. Now the audio, I'm just going to pick Rec Room's music, but you could just have your sample audio if you would rather want that. And just wire them together. Now the next thing we're going to do is get a list get element. what this thing does is that we can get a certain element inside of our list by changing the index. And just wire the index from the 4 to the index on the list_get element. And the value is just going to output the volume we choose from the index. And we want to multiply this by 100 so we make the height of the audio wave even longer. So you can change it to be less or more, so it'll be more sensitive to the audio. Now the next thing we want is a round to int, because the next chip only requires integer values. And it's called string substring. Put it down, and then in the string, type a bunch of underscores. Because our audio wave is actually text and not a Rec Room object. So we're changing how many underscores there are, depending on how loud the volume was. The length is how many underscores there is, so that's what we're gonna wire it together. But for example, if we change it to 4, then you can see it's gonna show 4 underscores, but just wire those two together. Now, the next step is getting a text set text. And just the text is just the one from the string substring. And then you just want to wire these two together, and the same with the one above. Now the next thing we need is actually to make the audio wave. So first pick up your Maker Pen, open the palette and search up text. Now spawn it in and configure the object board. And then scroll down and press the delete all board content. This will make it look nice and clean and save you a lot of chips, and it's a nice habit to just have in general. Now configure your text, scroll down, and then change it to a few underscores so it looks like that. And then turn off synced. It's very important, or else your circuits are gonna break. Now in the horizontal text alignment, change it from center to left, and the thickness, change it from 1 to 50. So now it's gonna look this like long rectangle. So rotate it like I do. Then it kind of looks like the audio length thing. So turn off your scale and then scale it down. Now move the circuit board and then turn grid back on, and then clone it. Just click the blue plus, not hold. And then you can clone it as many times as you want. I'm just gonna do it until I feel like it's enough, like this. And now move the object boards and remember to align them so they still are in the same order as you cloned them in, or else it's not gonna work. Now, go in your palette and search list create. And then you're going to wire all the lists together in order, or else again it's not gonna work. And since there's no more inputs, you can just configure the list create and add more values. And then wire the rest of them together. Now we have our list of text, and just move it over to circuits if they aren't already, and move anything that's in the way, like my audio player is. It's a very good habit to have nice circuits to look at so you don't get confused. And then you're going to clone your list_get count and wire the lists together, and then the output of the count into B on the greater or equal chip. And then wire the output into the input of the 4. And then clone the list_get element, and the index is also going to be the output from the 4, and the list is going to be our new list. and then the output is going to go to the input on the text. And now you're almost done. If you wire these two together, now you can see that your audio wave is gone because there's no audio playing. So now I'm going to turn it on. So I'm turning it on. Now we can see that it works. And it turns off when the audio is stopped. Now you can recolor this into however you want, and you can also change this multiply so the sensitivity of the audio is bigger, so the length of the text becomes even higher. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. If you want to recommend some tutorials I should do, please write them in the comments so I can make a video about them.